we will study gravitation in terms of, in the light of Newton. Okay? There are two theories of gravitation, at least in the two major theories in physics and gravitation. Newton and Einstein. The first one is Newton. Newton's theory can be discussed using just calculus, but unfortunately Einstein's gravitation is actually very complicated in terms of its mathematical formulation. It's called general relativity. Okay? In order to, before we start, let's just have a contrast here. Some sort of, what's the difference between Newton's theory of gravitation, Newton versus Einstein's theory of gravity. Okay? This is known as the law of universal gravitation, LUG, and this is LUG, and this is GR, general relativity. Okay? So, in Newton's theory, gravitation or gravity is seen like a force. It is a force. Gravity is a force. This is actually the pinaka-center. Gravity is a force. Here, okay, gravity is geometry of space-time. Of space-time. The structure of space-time itself, we call that the curvature of the geometry of space-times. There's no actually force of, it doesn't look as gravity as a force, but what we call a curvature in space and, the warpage of space and time. That's why it's much more complicated. You have to go into differential geometry in order to deal with Einstein's general theory of relativity. So anyway, Newton viewed as gravity as a force. So since it's now clear, according to Newton, gravity as a force. But which force? Okay? I will not derive to you how the way Newton derived it. But let's just, of course, look at this as a statement. Gravity is a force. So meaning, you have a force of gravity equals what? Okay? Well, clearly, since we'll just use MA. M times A, right? But what is that A now? And what is that M? What M are we referring to? Because gravity is between two bodies. Gravity, you have only a single body, it cannot have gravity, right? Okay? So there is a gravitational force between two bodies separated by a distance. Let's call this distance R. Now, of course, when you are referring to at least two bodies, this now creates a problem. What is that M? Okay? Is the M for here or M for there? And if we say that M for the first one, then what makes it so special? Right? Or if we say that it's for the second one, the upper part, then what makes it special? So it turns out that this is not actually although it's equal to some MA, but this is not a good starting point. Okay? We just say that when I derive the conservation of momentum, I foreshadowed something about force of interaction, right? So this, let's call this 1 and 2. Mass 1 experiences a force due to 2. And here, since Newton observed it as gravity, the apple falling to the ground, gravity is as a force, and which is actually what, let's emphasize this, as an attractive force, a purely attractive force. We have not seen gravity as something that repels something. It always sucks. Gravity sucks. No? It sucks things up. There's not, have you seen that it's being repelled by gravity or something like anti-gravity? As of now, we don't see any anti-gravity. Although theoretical physics, you can find a way to create some anti-gravity, or I don't know, say kuanana, but at least as of today, we don't see any anti-gravity as a technology. Okay, but theoretically, yes, you can have something that can repel gravity, and you can do everything with mathematics. The problem now is the mathematics there a good description of nature? Anyway, so it's an attractive, meaning that 1 now is being drawn to 2, and 2 is being drawn to 1. Okay, we call this now F21 in my notation, the F2 on 1, meaning the force experienced by 1 due to 2, and this is now F12. Clearly, here, as I've said, F12 is equal to negative F21. We have this, and they have this. They have the same magnitude. Okay, only in opposite direction. Now, this gravity, this force now, since they're separated by r, there are many possible. Let's think of this as the gravitational force, Fg, can be either be directly proportional to the distance r, or even kr squared. We have seen this, right? What's a force that is directly proportional? The elastic force, right? With the distance. But it's actually talking about an equilibrium, not another mass. But we have already seen this one. It's a type of force. We can also have kr squared, and so on. But all of this creates a force which increases with distance. Okay? That's a force which increases with distance. That's not what we observe in nature. So a polynomial force, or something like, not necessarily a polynomial, but something like when r is greater than 1 for any exponent kr alpha, for any alpha greater than or equal to 1, this will not describe gravity. We know that this could not describe gravity, right? Why? Because if it were the case that gravity is described in an alpha equal to 1, then the farther you are, the stronger is the force. And if that's the case, everything will collapse into a what we call maybe the heaviest mass in the universe. But we have not seen that. Okay? Kaya if the force increases, di ba tendency magkadako ang ilang it has the reason to go back, just like the spring. The greater that you pull it off from the equilibrium, the greater is the force, right? The more that it becomes irresistible, right? The more that you feel the force on the string. So this is off the table. Now what is left now is we have this kr alpha, but we have here alpha now is less than 1, between 0 to, of course, greater than 0. Well, pwede na ito masulti ang 0, okay, to up to 1. Or, sorry, sayop di ay, not necessarily, I should include here greater than or equal to 0. Okay, let's just take greater than 0. Okay, for alpha greater than 0, meaning here, when alpha is between 0 to 1, you have an r raised to some fraction, right? Okay, but we know that root of a function still increases as r increases, right? The roots. Even the nth root of r increases as r increases. Okay? So still, that would suggest, even though you have the 100th root of r of the distance, it still increases, right? As r increases, of course, the universe is a very vast space. If you get onto many billions of whatever units that you're using, this becomes large. Although this increases slowly. So this is off the table. R is greater than, alpha greater than 0. What is left now is alpha less than equal to 0. Okay. But alpha equals 0 means you have now K. It's a constant gravitational force. Okay? Meaning that it doesn't depend on R. Actually, you have this. A gravitational force that doesn't depend on R. It's just a constant all throughout. But this, again, would create a problem. Because if that is the case, then it doesn't depend on the mass at all. This is something that the mass becomes useless. It's just a constant all throughout. Okay? And so, meaning, alpha equals 0 is also now off the table. Well, it could be, but we have a reason to suspect that, a very reasonable that alpha is not equal to 0. What is left maybe is, let's skip the fraction, the negative fraction. We can have now either for alpha less than 1. Okay, let's just use now alpha less than equal to negative 1. So meaning when alpha equals negative 1, you have K over R. Right? And of course, when negative 2, you have K over R squared. And so on. Okay? Now, this is a candidate. These are good candidates when alpha is less than negative 1. Okay? Or even when alpha is less than 0. Why? Because it suggests that as you move further away, gravitational force, the magnitude of it, decreases, right? Di ba? Decrease na siya? 1 over R decreases as R increases. And so is R squared. But this decreases rapidly, more rapidly than R. Sabtan ninyo? This is reasonable. But there's a law which I will discuss this later. I'm not going to, because it's used an argument from Gauss's law, but we have not discussed Gauss's law yet. It will be reserved later, and maybe if we could reach on that. But on that one, I'm going to explain it again. Why this is off the table. Okay, because if you use some Gauss's law, and this would suggest that the effect of gravitational force, the effect, not the gravitational force, but its effect increases with R. Its effect increases with R. But that's not the case. If its effect increases with R, then so is, it's just almost the same story as this one. And this one now is much, it's a better story. And this one, before Newton, I'm not sure if I'm accurate about this, but I think Kepler's law was already known when Newton made his universal law of gravitation. You know what Kepler's law, right? Kepler's law states that the planets orbit around the sun in an elliptic orbit. There are 3 laws of Kepler. Okay, so this is a good study for differential equation. But of course, since we're not dealing with differential equations here, we could not discuss Kepler's law. Okay? So, this one creates, when Newton solved it, when he tried over R, this is the only force that can explain Kepler's law. Okay? That the planets must revolve around the sun in a elliptical way. Okay? It was known before that, yeah, I think, Ana sila ka-bright na sa una, no? They were naked eye astronomer. They were using telescope. But how could they, how were they able to kumbaga pa, to deduce that the planets are in an elliptical orbit? I cannot imagine how to do that. Maybe we've lost that creativity karon. Because they were able to say that it's elliptic orbit. How can they say that? I don't know how. I don't even know if I'm being accurate historically, but I think they know. Kepler's law was already established already established that the orbit is elliptic. Okay. So Newton's law, Newton used this one. He was able to derive this one as the only viable solution, or the only viable force that would give way, that would pave the way, that would make Kepler's law true, that would not contradict. Okay? Kepler's law. Okay? I am not going to discuss this one. We cannot also solve this one in this course. It requires some advanced, it requires some differential equation. Although we dealt with differential equation dati, but this one produces, when you apply, this one would produce a much more complicated differential equation, which is not part of this course. Maybe when you're in your DE later. Nagsugod na mo DE or wala pa? Wala pa. Maybe you will be discussing Kepler's law, but only the mathematics of it. Okay? So, the force now of gravity, we're settled here. Newton settled with 1 over r squared. So, F now is proportional to 1 over r squared. Okay? And since this is in between two masses, it must be that it's proportional to some m1 and m2 between the two masses. And its distance, right? R squared. Now, of course, this is now almost the form in which this proportionality, we can now just say that there's a constant. In order to this is directly proportional, right? This is proportionality. Sakto ba? Mo ba ning sign, no? Proportional? I think, ana na lang, no? Ana. Proportional. So, to make this equal, we'll just put a constant, m1, m2 over r squared. And this is now the gravitational force between two bodies. Okay? So, this is just in scalar form. This is in scalar form. We can actually use vector in order to express this much more accurately. Okay? So, we're settled. This is not the correct one. Okay? Now, this is just a proportionality. This is not an equation yet. To make the proportionality equal, all we have to do is add a constant, meaning that constant must be a constant of nature. Okay? It must be a constant of nature. And here, G will have a value of 6, negative 11. The unit would be Newton per meter squared per kilogram squared. I think this is the unit. Yeah. 6.67 times 10 to the negative 11. That's a gravitational constant. It's a very weak constant. That's why gravity is a very weak phenomenon. Because of this constant. If this constant is large, then gravitational force would be very large. Okay? So you have here the position of M1 and the position of M2. You now have this one as R1 and we have this as R2. Now we know that this vector here is, we can call this R12, right? R12. That R12 is the relative position of 2 relative to 1, right? Or we can call this as R1 to 2. And of course, it's easy to check that R1 using vector addition plus R12 equals R2, right? So that here, we can see that R12 is equal to R2 minus R1. Now, if our perspective is M2, of course, that's just R21, right? R21 is just this vector, which is the opposite of R12. And you can see that R21 is just R1 minus R2. So this is our notation. R12 is R2 minus 1. Okay? Now, of course, if you're going to measure what is now the gravitational force experienced by 1 due to 2, I'll take the force on 1 due to the presence of 2. Okay? That would be F21. Okay? F21. This is my I love this convention because it reflects the attractiveness of the force, and you will see why. This is now M1 M2 over the position of 2 relative to 1. I mean, this vector right here must be on this, since it's attractive. We know that we have already asserted that gravitational force is attractive. So this means this is R1, 2. And this must be squared, right? But squaring this, an absolute value of a vector is meaning its magnitude. So squaring this now becomes, this whole thing here is a scalar, right? This whole thing is a scalar. But we need a vector because this is a vector and forces are vectors. How do we convert this into a vector? Well, it's easy. We'll use this position vector. We know that for whatever magnitude F21 has, it will be directed towards M2, right? Because it's attractive. And what's the vector pointing from R1 to R2? That's just R12, right? So we will multiply this by R12 to give its position vector. I mean, to give it a vector. But this creates now a problem because R12, this now creates a dimensional problem, right? This is no longer newtons. That is Newton times meter. Right? This is Newton times meter. And it seems that whatever magnitude of force is, when we multiply it with the R12, its magnitude is multiplied by the distance. And we don't want that. But of course, this is now the time that we can use in one of the vectors I've said, in our lecture in vectors, in the video. Okay? I've said that any vector can be converted into a unit vector. So what we want is we want this to have a unit vector, R, which is parallel with R12, meaning this is just R12 hat, the unit vector version of R12, meaning that we have to convert R12 into a unit vector. So this is, how do we convert a vector to a unit vector? We divide it by its magnitude, right? That's how we convert a vector by its a unit of any vector to a unit vector, right? So now this now creates this whole thing here is just R12 hat, a unit vector in the direction of R12. So when we multiply this by F, F doesn't change in terms of magnitude. We only gave it a direction. Okay? We say that whatever that F is, it must be directed on R12 because R12 is where the position of 2 relative to R1 is. Okay? And it's attractive. Meaning, it should point towards 2. If we use R21, R21 is, this is the direction of R21, right? It's repulsive. But later, this vector here will become, in another force, this R21, as calculated on 1, will can also be used, but at least not for gravity. Therefore, now, our F21 is equal to Gm1 M2 over, what is this? R12. What is R12? That is the magnitude of R2 minus R1. And you have now a cube times R2 minus R1. Okay? So this is now a cube right here. And of course, F12 force here would be equal to Gm1 M2 over R 21, right? This is R21 right here. From 2 to 1. Cube times R21, or I can just write this as, what is R21? The opposite of that. So that is just R1 minus R2 vector cube times R1 minus R2. Okay? So, this is now, as you can see, F21 is negative of, kaning duha, wala ni problema. This is, the magnitude of the vector is always positive, right? So, bisan pag mabaliktad ni siya, this and this are the same, right? Okay, because these are magnitude. But here is the opposite. If you take the negative of this, mo reverse ni siya, right? And you get this thing here. Okay? So, in order to know, let's have a concrete example. Let's just say M1 equals 10 to the 8 kilograms and M2 is equal to, I'll just, 1 times 10 to the 8 kilograms and M2 is 1.5 times 10 to the 8 kilograms. It's very heavy, no? And what is now the gravitational force between, if, let's take R1 is, R1, lagyon po nato, no? Maybe we'll use up to pila? To the order of 6 meters. So 1 times 10 to the, I'll just, negative 3, 2. But there is each of this has a times 10 to the 7. Meaning negative 3 times 10 to the 7 meters. Pila na siya? Million? This is in meters. Okay? And R2 would be equal to, let's say, 1, 4 times 10 to the 7 meters. So 1 times 10 to the 7 meters, 4 times 10 to the 7 meters. What is now the gravitational force experienced? Find the gravitational force experienced by, find the acceleration of M2. Okay, we are now calculating on the perspective of M2. Okay, let's plot this one. This is, we have negative 3, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. So this is where M1 is. How about M2? That's 1, 4. 1, 4. 1, 2. So this is where M2 is. So this is now our R1. That's our R1. And this is our R2. We are calculating at R2. Okay? So, since we are calculating at R2, we want this vector here, which is R21, right? R21. Well, we know that R21 is just the opposite of that, so that is R1 minus R2, right? So what we need now, okay, first is the acceleration of M2. This is A2, right? We want this. Well, of course, we know that A2 must just be equal to F what? F12, right? F1 on 2, right? Nakuha? This is just F1 on 2 because we are at this F1, 2. Okay, don't be confused with that. Okay? So, well, once we calculate F1, 2, just divide it by M2. This is just M2. Okay? Then we can now find A2. What is F12? Let's calculate F12 first. F12, this is, okay, to calculate that we need R2, R1 minus R2, right? Okay? R1 minus R2. So what is R1 minus R2? R1 minus R2. Let's calculate this. That is R1 minus R2. That is negative 3 minus 1. So this is negative 4 minus this is minus 2, right? Tama? Okay? Okay. So this is negative 4. Yeah, negative negative 4 times 10 to the 7 meters. Okay? And we take its magnitude. The magnitude of R1 minus R2 is just equal to, unsa man ni siya? 4 squared, that is pila? 16 plus 4 square root of 20. So this is now square root of 20 times 10 to the 7 meters. Okay? Or pwede natin kindly do this in your calculator para di na ta magkuan-kuan. Ay, i-cube pa man din no? So, R1 minus R2 cube is i-cube natin eh. This becomes cube na mo, 3 halves, no? So, yeah. Pila-pila na siya. I-decimal na lang nato, be. Let's just use decimals. Ha? Pila? 8 point times 10 to the power of 22 meters. Okay, we now have that cube. Then we can calculate now F12. You can go directly actually by taking F2, but A2, but I just have to show how to calculate F12. Okay, the F12 now is GM1 M2. So that is now 6.67 times 10 to the negative 11. Compatible na itong units. I will no longer put the units here because we are now using SI tanan. And you have 1.0 times 10 to the 8 times 1.5 times 10 to the 8, right? Over this 8.94 times 10 to the 22 times that negative 4, negative 2 times 10 to the 7 meters. Whatever is the unit, this unit will be in newtons, right? All of this. When you finish calculating it. Now, i-calculate lang kanilang sa nga part. Just this part. Kana lang. 1.11. Okay, so this is now 1.119. So 1.12 na lang. 1.12 times 10 to the times 10 to the negative 17. Mone? Sure? Wait lang. 8 plus 8, 16. Minus 11, 5. Yeah. Negative 17, no? Okay. Times negative 4, negative 2 times 10 to the 7 newtons. Now, i-multiply ni negative 4. Ato na lang diretso tanan. This times negative 4 times 10 to the negative 7. Pwede naman natin siya maano. I'll just take this, 9 times na negative 7, di ba? So, na negative 7 din, so may tabo. Mag-add. No, positive 7 din siya. Positive 7. Okay, so this now becomes, I'll remove this one here. This now becomes negative 10. Alay, naya eh. This is now in newtons. 4.48. Negative. No, negative. This is now negative 4.48. And then negative 2, so minus 2.24 times 10 to the negative 10 newtons. That is our, it's very small. I can't believe it. Times 8 plus 8, 16 minus 11. 8 plus 8, 16 minus 11. 5. 5 minus 22. Yeah, sakto. Negative 17. So, gamay lagi kayo ba? Maybe this is very, very, so ba, heavy? Or gamay ra pod? Ay, gagmay ra siguro ni nga, kilogram. I don't know. What's the mass of the Earth? Kindly look for the mass of the Earth. Mass of the Earth. ME is 5.972 to the to the 24 kilograms. Okay, how about the radius of the Earth? We are going to need this one later. 6,378 kilometers. So, this is now 6.378 times 10 to the 6. Sakto ba? Meters. Sakto? 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Or let's just use the kilometers. Okay. And here, this is a very, morning gagamay siya. I'm trying to justify why it's very, very small. Okay, because the masses are small and the distance is very large. Because, di makayo nga large siya good. It's just, the masses are very, very small. To the 8 lang siya, no? Okay? So, this is now the gravitation na F12. We can take the magnitude of this. What's the magnitude? Now, take the squares of this, right? So, F12 now, F12 in terms of magnitude is pila? 5.008 times 10 to the negative 10 newtons. 5.008. Sakto na? 5.08. Okay, anyway, we'll just accept this. That's the magnitude. Now, what's the acceleration? We can now calculate the acceleration, right? We can get the vector form or the magnitude. A2 now would be, what is now A2? A2, in terms of vector, that is just F12 over M2, right? So, divide this by M. So that we can get the vectors. Divide that of M, what is M? When we divide it by M, what is M? M2. What is M2? 1.5. So, divided by, okay, nakay 10 to the negative 10 divided by 10 to the 8, right? Divided by 1.5. Negative 2.99. So, negative 3. Dayon. So, negative 1.5 na lang. Times 10 to the, mo ni siya, negative 18. This is now in meters per second squared. Because you are dividing it by kilograms, right? But it's very, very small. I cannot believe this one. But it's very small. Why is this very small? Well, maybe because I don't do calculations with kaning ani talagsa na, but that's why I was expecting at least not on this that's negative 18. That's very, very, it's the atomic scale. Be, tanaw na to, be. R1 minus R2, when we cube this one, yeah, you get this. Sakto, gi-cube ninyo ni ganihan, no? Gi-cube siya. And then, G, M1, M2, so sakto man, negative 11 plus 8 plus 8, that's 5. So 5 minus, that's why we have negative 17. Yeah, this is correct. And while this one is 10 to the negative 7. Asa kayo na ito nakita ng 10 to the negative 7? This one, right? 10 to the negative 7. This is very small. Anyway, what's the magnitude of A2? A2 is just, well, you either take the magnitude of this or this divided by 1.5. I-try ninyo, tanawa. 5 divided by 1.5. 3.33 meters per, I don't know, times 10 to the negative 10. No? Kani siya divided by 1.5 times 10 to the 8. You still get this one. Meters per second. Or, kani imong i-try ni siya. Tanawa, 3 squared plus 1.5 squared. Sige, God. 3 squared plus 1.5 squared. Then square root. Pila? Oh, so gamay nanay di ba? So mora ni siya. This one with this the magnitude of F divided by the mass. The other one is the vector A2, just take its magnitude and they should coincide, right? And yes, they coincide but with a small error in the decimal point. Kaya nag-round up naman gud ta. That's the problem with rounding up too much. We have been rounding up since the beginning. That's why we have a quite large difference. Now, I cannot believe that this is 10 to the negative, not negative 18. Negative 18 di ay, no? Gamay kayo. I can't, what's wrong? What's wrong is, anyway, maybe the mass is very small. Okay? The mass is very small and the distance is very large. I think that's what's... Okay? So, nasabdan yun eh? Okay? So, we have already discussed the gravitational force. Let's now... Okay, at balik na dire. Okay? We have R1, okay, R2, M1, M2, and this is R2. Okay. This one right here is, unsa ni siya? This is F12, right? F12. The force on 2 due to 1 or F1 to 2. 1 on 2. Okay, so mo ni siya. This one here is F21, right? Okay, now suppose that this is our focus. And let's just label this as M. Okay? And, okay, let's just label as M naught. This one here. So let's make this to be R naught. So this is F1, 0. Okay? Now, there's something that we can calculate here. What we can calculate here is, other than the force, is what we call, we might be interested with the gravitational force per unit mass. It's because the gravitational force changes depending on what mass you put here, right? Or which mass you put. The gravitational force due to M, exerted by M, to any mass, the gravity... Saan, matulog ka? Oh, sige. The gravitational force, sit, ano daw? Sit properly. Okay. So, the gravitational force due to M will depend on which mass you put in that point. Okay, for example, the gravitational force due to M there, based on this point here, will depend on the point nga, the mass of the point that ibutang nako diri, right? Now, there's something to resolve this one. Now, asa na ta? Okay, the gravitational force at this point, at any point, would depend on the mass that you will put on that. We want something that is absolute. Okay, that may not depend on the mass that we are going to put there. And that is now what we call, instead of doing that, we want to get, instead of the gravitational force, we want to get the force per unit mass. Force per unit mass. We want that. So we want something, that's the quantity, the force per unit mass. Now for this point right here, okay, we call this now G as the point per unit mass, or let's just put this as G, balik na lang natin sa 2, no? 2. The force per unit mass at point 2 due to 1, nakuha, this is how we read it. The force per unit mass, G of 1 due to 2, we can call this as G of 1 due to, G of 1 on point 2. No? G1 on 2, or we can also say that this is the G of 2 due to 1. Okay? The force per unit mass on 2 due to the gravitational force exerted on it by 1. Okay? Basta muna. This is a vector also. This is F12 over M2. Okay? Sabtan ninyo? F12 over M2. Well, let's just label this again as M1. Okay. This is the force per unit mass. The unit of this is Newton per kilogram. And it won't change. It will not change. At every point, that value is the same regardless of what mass you're going to put at that point. Meaning that in order to calculate this at a point, you don't need a mass at that point. Nasabtan? You won't need a mass at that point, actually. Although we divided a mass on that, but in fact, we can calculate this G12 without using M2. Why? Because, okay, what is F12? This is G M1, M2 over R1, R21 ba ne? R12 no? No, R21. Right? Sa atong convention. Okay? R21 cube times R21, because this is R1 minus R2, right? R1 minus R2 times 1 over M2. Okay? Times 1 over, asan to? Times 1 over m2. So it cancels out. This means that this is just gm1 over r21 cube times r21. It is independent of the mass. That's why this is much better to calculate, because we don't need to put a mass right here in order to know the gravitational force. It is, what is this? Is called the gravitational force per unit mass. Okay? The gravitational force per unit mass, G. This is the gravitational force per unit mass. Or actually, this is otherwise and most commonly known also as the gravitational field. Okay? This is the gravitational field. So, it is much more convenient to use the gravitational field since it is now the effect of this mass right here on whatever mass that you put at that point. If suppose nadira ang M1, that M1, pag magbutang ko, M1 without any other M cannot create gravitational force, right? It needs two masses to create this gravitational force. But the thing is, the gravitational force would depend, its effect of this at this, would depend on the kind of mass, the amount of mass that I'm going to put right here, sa kuha. Now, in order to make that something that is independent of the mass, I'll put here, I want just to measure the effect of the gravitational, of M1, the gravitational force between whatever mass I'm going to put there and M1, the effect only. Okay? Mo na ginatawag ang effect niya. This is now some sort of measuring the effect of M1. Okay? And it won't depend, it should not depend on which mass. And that's why this is called the gravitational, this is now the gravitational field. And as we can see, let's calculate now, okay? Or in terms of its magnitude, G is just equal to what? Gm over, okay, let's just use small g. Let's use small g. Because there's a capital G here. Okay, so this is now small g. Its magnitude is Gm over R squared. What is that R squared? R12, this is just that magnitude, right? Okay, so if you have a mass at the origin of mass M, and we put now at the origin, and for any distance r from the origin, the gravitational field, we don't need to put a mass there to measure G, as I've said. But to measure gravitational force, we need a mass. Okay? The gravitational field at the point r, distance r away, is just Gm over R squared. Now, let's calculate the gravitational field of the Earth. In terms of magnitude, this is G times ME over RE squared. Okay? And this is 6.67 times 10 to the negative 11 times. What's the mass? Sa to? Nawala na. No. Ang mass. Ha? No. Kwanto siya? Ang radius to? Pila-pila itong mass? Earth. Mass of the Earth. Nato dire. Ha? 5.972 times 10 to the 24. I'll not put the unit kaya compatible naman over radius of the Earth. 6,378 kilometers, no? So, 1, 2, 3. Okay, i-square nato ni, no? Kay we're not, dili man ta vector form, wala man ta dire, right? square. Now, let's calculate this. Or 3.678 times 10 to the 6. Okay? So, the gravitational field. What is this? Okay, by the way, I have to explain this. You have the Earth, right? This is the center. It is as if all the mass of the Earth is concentrated at the center. Meaning, we are calculating the gravitational field just at the surface of the Earth. Because this is RE, right? This is what we're doing. Okay? It is as if that all the mass of the Earth, and that's how you do it in calculations. Assume that all the mass of that planet is concentrated at the center. Now, meaning here, the surface is just RE. The gravitational field at the surface of the Earth. And this. What is that? 9.79 raised to, no, tarungan ninyo, kay nanay something dira. 6.37, 6.3 times 10 to the 7. Okay. Okay, this is actually approximately 9.8 meters per second squared. This is the acceleration due to gravity. This is why G is 9.8 meters per second squared. Okay? This is actually what gravitational field is. Na, kuha ninyo? And you can see that its effect, regardless of the mass that you put, it will fall at 9.8. Nasabtan ninyo? Okay, now you understand that. Okay? Did you derive this sa una? Wala gyapon. Yatagra. And that's how you calculate that. And as I've said, you don't need, that's the effect of the Earth to whatever mass. And unsa may effect niya, regardless of what mass you're going to put here, it will fall at 9.8 meters per second squared downwards. Nasabtan. Okay, that's just actually gravitational field. Okay, now you know that. Okay, asa nagi ka ng 9.8. Okay? Now, let's calculate, let's go to gravitational potential energy. Gravitational potential energy. Okay, what's gravitational potential energy? It is UG is the work done by the gravitational force that ds, we can call this that ds, from the zero potential to some value. Okay. From an initial point, R naught, to some point R. Pero, unsa ni siya karon? What does it mean? This is, okay, we have a mass M at the origin. We want to calculate the gravitational potential energy at some R. And that gravitational potential energy is equivalent to the work done by moving a mass M naught. Let's calculate, okay, a mass M naught. Here we have M naught here. Okay? A mass M naught, or let's just use capital M for this one. Capital, again. Go give sa kuan. A mass small m right here. We move as mass small m, di ba morning ano na to? No, this was 9 negative, right? No, wala yung negative. Sorry. Anyway, let's tanaw na to na siya. Okay? In moving this one, the work done in moving from what? From zero potential energy towards the at some point R. Now here, since the effect of gravitational force is decreasing with distance, meaning here that we are actually calculating it, the zero potential will occur at infinity. Meaning when R becomes infinite to a distance, to the point R. Okay? Now, let's just, since this is symmetric, for whatever, there's symmetry here, no? Wala, di ba pareho lang din, right? This is symmetric right here. So, we'll just use one dimension to calculate this one. Okay? If you're using one dimension, meaning we have here a mass M, and we want to calculate at some distance R the potential energy if we have a mass M right here, small m. So what's the gravitational potential energy of a small mass M at a distance R away from M? Okay? If, that's what we are calculating. But in order to calculate that, that is calculated as the work done in moving M from the zero potential, meaning from infinity, right here, up to that point. That's it. So meaning, this gravitational potential energy now, UG at R, or we can call this as U of R, due to M, capital M, right? Due to capital M. We can think of this as U of R due to M. Okay? And this is equal to the integral of F. What is F? This is G M over R squared dr, right? Okay? From infinity to R. Okay? And what's this? Negative, tama? Minus G M over R squared evaluated from, R. Tama? Infinity to some distance R. Nakuha? Okay? Well, to not confuse you, I'll just use S dire. No, S. So, S. Right? Oh. So, evaluated from R, so this means this now becomes minus Gm, small m, times 1 over R minus 1 over infinity, right? But this is 0. Okay? So this now is equal to minus Gm m over R. And this is a scalar. That's the gravitational potential energy at our R distance away from M, given the mass m, small m at that point. Now, let's calculate now the potential energy at just the surface of the Earth. We can do that by, if this is the surface of the Earth, no, this is where RE, okay, this is the Earth, right? And this is the center right here. So this one is RE. As if all of the mass of the Earth is right here at the center of the core. Kita pa ba? Ayan, makita. We want to calculate the gravitational force at a height small h. Okay? From the surface of the Earth. Clearly here, h would be so small compared to r. Well, to do that, this is of mass m. So to do that, you have now U of the potential energy at that point is ME, right? ME times M, the mass over, how far is this from the center? That is, this is negative here, RE plus H. Okay? And now, we can factor out RE here. So you have now GME times M over RE times, when you take RE, you have now 1 plus H over RE, right? Tama? Okay? Now, we are going to use Taylor series or Taylor expansion. We have to approximate. We will approximate this. If you have 1 over 1 plus X, okay, did you discuss Taylor series sa inyong calculus? Wala mo discuss yung mga series? Wala. Anyway, this is just, using Taylor, ako na lang ihatag. This is just equal to 1 minus X. Approximately equal to 1 minus X. This is only true if our X is very small. When X is large, this is not true. Meaning we are approximating in a small region near X. Nasabtan ninyo? Okay? And why is this valid? Because H over RE is very small, right? Kaya tanawang H, is H comparable to RE? No. If we are just using at least some, right? Okay? So this can be a valid approximation. Now, using this one, with what is our X right here? H over RE, right? So this means that using this, our gravitational potential energy now, I'll just call this as GPE, but actually that's U, minus GMM over RE times 1 minus H over RE, right? Tama? Okay? Right? Okay. And this now becomes minus GM, ME, M over RE plus GM, E, M over RE squared times H. Right? Okay. Now, what really matters is not the gravitational potential energy. What matters is the change in the gravitational potential energy, right? Delta U. Tama? So, if you have now, meaning, okay, U of, let's call this now becomes U of H, right? So, this is now our U of H, the gravitational potential energy at a height H. But, really, what matters is, as we have seen in the problem, bisan pag, this one, as the, okay, this is the ground. You have here a level, same mass, and another same mass here, which has a higher potential energy. Kane? Okay? But, why is that? Because this one here is the zero. I can set it to be here. Nakuha ninyo? I can set the zero reference point to be here. And if this is the case, then this now will have a lesser potential energy. Tama? In terms of magnitude, right? So, asa ba yun ang mas taas og potential energy? Wala. I mean, you cannot put an absolute reference point. Nakuha ninyo? Because this reference point, the zero potential is arbitrary. When I set the zero potential here, it looks like it has a greater potential energy. But if I'm going to put the zero potential here, now this one has a lesser potential than this. Ang magnitude ani, right? Tama? Okay. Why is that? Because what matters is the difference. when we say, why is that? Okay, suppose that this from rest falls by a distance delta y. What is the velocity at this point? Zero siya dire. What is the velocity at this point? That is just, v is just equal to square root of 2g delta y, right? Tama? 2g, whatever is that. Diba? Dependent sa h. Now, if you fold this one, starting from rest again, and fold it by the same distance, delta y, what's the velocity at this point? Still, square root of 2g delta y. So what matters is not the actual position, but the change in that position. Nasabtan ninyo? The change in that position. In fact, nagkalahi lang tong energy. When we put the zero potential here, this has a higher energy because we have in our mind which one would, when it falls, when it reaches here, which one would give us the greatest velocity. Of course, this one, right? Sabdan ninyo? Okay, so that's why mauna siya. So what matters is the delta. Now notice that if you have UH2 minus UH1, if UH2 minus UH1, so you have H2 and H1, this doesn't have H, meaning this will always vanish, right? For a given delta U, this will not reflect. Right? For a given delta U, kani nga term mawala. In fact, this is now the reference. We can take this as this is some sort of constant, because if what matters is the change in potential energy, okay, the gravitational potential energy, then this will not matter. This will always be subtracted, right? Tanawa. Minus this one minus this one again, pero H2 lang. Di ba mawala ni? This, right? If you subtract U of H, form UH2. So you have H2 here. Minus this again, but you have H1. When you subtract it, this term will not show up. Okay? This will always be subtracted to itself. So it's zero. So what would matter now is basically this. So we can just set this to be 0. We can just say now that U of H is just equal to G M E times M over R E squared times H. But we can arrange this. We have already calculated this, right? A while ago. What was this? G M E over R E squared. That was... It's a constant, right? That is G. Right? So, meaning now, U of H is equal now to, this is M times GME over RE squared. To show it, H, right? But this whole thing is just G. This is now MGH. And that is why you have MGH. Asa, ha? So, you see? Okay. Yeah, pero mao ni ang this is not the correct yun actual. This is only true for near the surface of the earth. If you go out farther and farther, this will become erroneous. Okay? But of course, if you're dealing with up to several kilometers above the it's nothing compared to the radius of the earth, right? So this approximation is still valid. So long as we don't go very far from space. Nakuha? Okay? Pagtaas na kayo, you could no longer use this as the potential energy. Now, yeah. Muna siya. Okay? And I think, I just derived this to you. So, nasabta na ninyo karon ng MGH, right? Okay, that's the gravitational potential energy.